In what is now being called one of the boldest and most dangerous escalations in the Middle East's modern history, Iran launched a massive, unprecedented missile barrage over 500 ballistic and cruise missiles directly at Israeli territory, marking a brutal departure from decades of proxy warfare and covert operations. The assault, which Tehran dubbed Operation Sword of God, was in direct retaliation for Israel's earlier coordinated strike and command infrastructure across Isfahan, Fordo, and the outskirts of Tehran. Iranian leadership had warned the world that it would respond with force, and when it came, it was overwhelming. Beginning at exactly 2:17 a.m., missile batteries in western and central Iran lit up the night, followed within minutes by scores of armed drones launched from multiple fronts. But even with world-class technology intercepting hundreds of missiles, dozens slipped through. Nevatim Air Base, home to Israel's F-35 squadrons, took several direct hits. Tel Aviv, the economic heart of the country, plunged into darkness as missiles struck substations, while fires broke out across Ashdod and Beersheba. Live footage showed Israeli civilians huddled in shelters, clutching radios, whispering prayers, while sirens blared without pause. The Israeli government declared a state of national emergency within hours, with Prime Minister Yair Lapid. Simultaneously, Iran's state-run media celebrated the strike as a national triumph, broadcasting real-time footage of missiles launching to orchestral music, while massive crowds flooded Tehran's streets, waving flags and chanting "Death to Israel" But behind the nationalist euphoria, the fear of what comes next loomed large. Global powers were quick to react. The United States, Israel's strongest ally, moved 2 carrier strike groups into the eastern Mediterranean and elevated its military readiness across CENTCOM. President Elena Vargas condemned Iran's aggression and promised ironclad support while urging de-escalation. Russia, maintaining close ties with Iran, blamed Israel for provoking the conflict, while China urged both nations to stand down, citing oil stability and global markets as top concerns. But despite the diplomatic language, the world had already begun to shift. Crude oil prices surged past $118 per barrel, prompting panic buying across Asia and Europe. The Strait of Hormuz, the most vital oil choke point on the planet, was declared a high-risk zone, with tankers rerouting toward longer, costlier paths. Energy-dependent nations like India, Japan, and Germany braced for fuel shocks, while airlines suspended all commercial flights over the Middle East. Meanwhile, Israel's northern borders lit up as Hezbollah. Iran's most powerful proxy began launching test volleys into Galilee. Israeli officials warned of a multi-front war, and for the first time in over a decade, military reservists were being recalled in tens of thousands. In Syria, Iranian-backed militias moved toward the Golan Heights. In Iraq, U.S. bases came under rocket attack by Shia militant groups aligned with Iran. And in Yemen, the Houthis declared solidarity with Tehran, threatening Red Sea shipping routes. Outside Israel, political fractures deepened. Opposition leaders accused Lapid of mishandling deterrence policy. Protests broke out, some calling for revenge, others demanding peace. In Iran, the economic strain of war began to show. Black markets swelled, the rial plunged, and voices of dissent once muffled began to murmur again. But for now, both nations remain locked in a cycle of vengeance and fear. Civilians on both sides continue to pay the price with lost homes, lost lives, and lost hope. Cities once lit by progress are now lit by explosions. Water lines have dried in some regions. Fuel is being rationed. And every hour without gunfire feels like a countdown, not a ceasefire. As analysts warn of the first true regional war of the 21st century, the world stands at a crossroads: retreat into diplomacy or tumble into chaos. One wrong move, one miscalculation, one provocation too far, and this moment could escalate into something truly uncontainable. The missiles may have stopped, for now, but make no mistake, the war has only just begun. This is no longer just about Israel and Iran. It is a tectonic shift in the Middle East's power dynamics, and the shockwaves may reach every continent. The rules of war have changed. Drones, cyber attacks, deepfake propaganda, oil weaponization, and in the background, superpowers silently repositioning for what may come. June 2025 may be remembered as the month the world crossed a line it can never uncross. History is not being written in peace talks. It's being written in smoke, steel, and silence.